Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, December 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get to the stocks real quick, just want to personally invite you to a free live online class that I'm offering here in just a couple days. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, then there's a link right down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, then there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click on. So like I said, just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're liking what you see, then definitely get signed up for the free class. And then real quick before I get into the actual charts here, a couple clarification points. First off, I am doing the 30-minute time frames. If you're new, that means that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then next, the market is still open for a while, so that candle right there will still be moving as I go through the video. I like to do this when the market's still open for just a little bit more time, because sometimes we can capture some really interesting breakout movement. But the market is near enough to being done for the day where the levels I talk about here, in my mind, will be relevant as we head into Wednesday. But first one here, AMC. And AMC clearly did not start off good at all. Big gap down on the day. But I mean, check out that opening 30 minutes. Again, that one candle there represents the opening 30 minutes, gap down, and then literally just straight up the entire opening 30 minutes. And then here's where things get interesting. Price pulled back, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but I talked about that support line right there, and check it out. After the big move up, price tried to come back down, but found support, surprise, surprise, right at that green line, and then up it went from there. So on that note, what I'm going to do here is just get rid of this level, because in my mind, there are now two very well-established levels to watch moving forward. The first is just this trend line right here, which I've already talked about. So that level is going to be that main area of support. And then again, going back to those of you that have watched past videos, this will mean a tad bit more. But even if you haven't, not a big deal. You now know that that resistance line there, which I put on the chart sometime last week that I'm very curious about, remains that overarching level of resistance to keep a close eye on. But anyway, look at it. No doubt about it. Very, very impressive bounce. Like I said, literally opened up down there and has now been able to battle back up to where it has right now. So the big question mark here headed into Wednesday is, can this bounce continue? Does this bounce have genuine power behind it? And the next kind of, area that can help confirm or deny whether or not there's any sort of genuine power behind it is, can the price get up to that trend line? And then next, can the price break through it? And if it can get through there, well, that would just be another bit of evidence that, yeah, this bounce has some genuine strength. But overall, very interesting day today. Next one, LCID, and been tracking this one for a while, and the bounce continues. And once again, kind of hard to see on the lower low side of things, but yeah, on Monday it went as low as right there. Today, right there. So it wasn't by a whole lot, but it did go to put in some higher lows, which compared to those lows becomes a little bit easier to see. But point here being, if you envision those as stair steps, the stair steps are continuing. But the bigger dynamic here went well above to a new high here. So the previous high was right there, and is clearly broken up through there. So in other words, the overall bounce continues, and that's going to be the main dynamic to continue to watch here moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line there, because really from a support side of things, what's going to be interesting to watch now is all about that purple line there, which on my chart denotes the 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving. So if you look closely enough, that level that line has actually leveled out. But now it's going to start to curl upwards and then eventually get an upward slope to it. And at that point, it essentially becomes a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. And at that point, assuming you want to see this continue to bounce, well, as far as, is this still a healthy bounce? Is everything okay? Well, as long as the price stays above the quote-unquote trend line there, then overall, that does imply that the price is still working its way upwards. So watch that purple line now very closely. That'll be, in my mind, at least the most straightforward way to gauge the health of any sort of, continued turnaround here. As far as next levels of resistance are concerned, let's try this right here. Next key level to watch would be right up there at the $43 mark. So $43 seems to be that next key overarching level that, of course, is not guaranteed to reject the price back down. But if the price does get up there, got to think that the bull or the bears are going to have a pretty big fortress up around that area. But all in all, nice day today. The bounce continues. Next one, ALZN, and a very, very nice move today, especially for like this price range. But you can see down here, good solid volume. And now we have a nice technical pattern here that has taken shape. So let's get this drawn into play here. So top part of that pattern resistance area right there around, give or take, let's call it the 307 mark. So 307 is going to be the level that I think a lot of people are watching. And when lots of people are watching the same levels, wondering the same thing, call it self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. Can definitely produce some nice dynamic movements. As far as levels of support are concerned, there's that nice little general trend line right there. I'm going to get that changed to green to represent more so the bullish attribute. And then to make this all the more easier to see. Let's just keep it one color. So again, we have resistance right there. We have support right there. We have the big momentum move right there. Then if I were to put a little golf hole down there for you golfers out there to make this more visual, this would be called a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play technical patterns, if you like this price range, well then ALZN has a nice bull pennant pattern here on the 30-minute. So we'll see how it continues to play out moving forward. Next one here, NIO. And as I've said with a couple other stocks, this will mean a bit more to those of you that watch past videos. But if you have, then hopefully you remember me putting that green line into play. And our chart's perfect? No, nothing is a perfect tool. But are they powerful? Absolutely. I mean, check this out. What a coincidence. Look at where the price decided to finally literally just go sideways all day long. Right there at that green line. So, I mean, again, the power of charts. I'm not patting myself on the back there, but yeah, I am patting charts on the back. They're a great tool that I would argue all traders should learn. But point here being that moving forward, 3150 remains that key level of support to watch very closely. So it was good to see that the price did bounce off that level. And moving forward, you're going to want to continue to see the price support the price as it has been. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, main level here to keep an eye on. If there's any sort of continued bounce, going to be right up there around $33.35. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, overall a rough day. But on the flip side of things, and this will mean more to those of you that have been traded for a while. But if you have traded for a while, I'm sure you've seen stocks that gap down, and then after the gap down, just bleed and bleed and bleed. But that didn't happen here. It did gap down, but at least it went sideways. And even late days got a little bit of an upwards bounce here to it. So we'll see if the price can continue on up through there. But yeah, 3150, good to see that level was able to hold strong. Next one here, GRTX, and this one I think had the most volume around the markets today, and is looking pretty sketchy right now. So maybe the party's over, but that is a two-sided coin because you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe this pullback here is just overall going to turn out to be a healthy pullback, and this thing's going to resume back upwards. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just keeps bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and that's why, in my mind, it's always nice to have some sort of confirmation areas. In my mind, the area here that could be a nice little confirmation is that trend line right there. Now, as I've already talked about, but want to, just really hammer home, there are no guarantees. So I'm not saying that if the price comes here, breaks through that trend line, then guaranteed the price is going to keep on, going upwards. But is that a plausible? Is that at least a rational, realistic mindset to have? It absolutely is. And again, not guaranteed to happen. That's why risk management matters. But as far as, because you don't want to just start buying, trying to catch a falling knife, right? Because who knows if this is the bottom. But if the thing can turn around enough, and again, turn around enough, what does that even mean? Those are just words. Well, that's why I love charts. They make that very visual. So turn around enough, quote unquote, is getting up through that trend line. Then who knows? Maybe this is just a healthy pullback and there's another nice round of upwards momentum, because today the chart definitely showed us this one can move, and it can move very quickly. So we'll see if this is indeed the beginning of going right back to where it started, or if this is just a healthy pullback. Next one here, SEAC, and I like this one just because it's got a very well-defined resistance area up there. So for breakout players, self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever you want to call it, $1.85 going to be a very watch level moving forward. From a support side of, let's change that here. From a support side of things, key level to watch if you like to play pullbacks, more so around the $1.30 mark. So really in the grand scheme of things, and I didn't notice this until I started drawing these lines, but I think this would be accurate. But we have a resistance there. We have a support here. We have the momentum move. And then right here, we have ourselves a bull flag pattern. So bull flag on this one. And again, if you like to play this price range and like to play these sorts of technical patterns, I'd say to get this one on your watch list. Next one here, FCEL. Been a while since I've done this one, and it's definitely been a popular stock out there, but it is right now just getting absolutely destroyed to the downside here. But it is actually, and let's see, how far back am I going to have to go here? There we go. But it is actually now, I didn't need to go back that far, starting to approach a very interesting level. And that level is down here at, let's see, what is that? $5.90. And this is going all the way back here till October. But that's an area where the last time it got down around here, it started to chop around and then had a very nice bounce. Now, again, I wish I could say trading was this easy, and I wish I could say that if the price went down there, for sure, the price is guaranteed to have a nice bounce like it did over here. No guarantees. But again, going back to the theme of, is it at least a plausible thought process to have? It absolutely is. So right there, 590 could very well be a bounce point, but then also just from kind of a general health perspective, I mean, if the price goes down to 590 and then just keeps going down, that would be a signal that, yeah, there's something that is just continues to be wrong with this chart, because that would then all of a sudden be putting it, and you can see right here, I mean, 590 has bounced several times before. So, I mean, again, it's just a very important level all the way around. So 590, still got a ways to go, but it's certainly within striking distance now. And you got to think that a lot of people are going to be watching that level. So we'll see what happens with it. Next one here, PLTR, reminds me quite a bit of AMC, meaning you can see right here, opening 30 minutes gapped all the way down here actually continued to move down, hit a low right there, and then in that same 30 minutes, straight up again, and then did pull back. But on the pullback, it put in that higher base, which is now the very important part moving forward, because, all right, it's clearly bounced, but is this a truly strong bounce? Well, let's see if it can show signs of progress. What does that even make, like, show signs of progress? How do you define that? Hey, good question. And again, that's the power of charts. Well, we are defining, quote unquote, a sign of progress is being able to stay above 1825, because even if the price were to come down in this area, bounce around like that, I mean, what would you still have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. If you envision those as stair steps, hey, you'd have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. So 1825 to me, very, very important level. As far as areas of resistance, right now it's all about that purple line there. Again, that 50 period moving average, you can see, not a coincidence that the price all of a sudden got rejected right off that level. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. Very, very like AMC. Very impressive bounce today. But is this the start of something bigger? Is there genuine power behind it? Let's see if the price can start to show signs of progress by staying above 1825. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And as I've done in a lot of the top 10 videos here, I like to trade this one. I traded it today, started green on it, and then got greedy, went red. So Tesla got the better of me today. But overall, want to get things updated here because it continues to be a great trader. And again, a very strong bounce this afternoon. I mean, check it out. It was flirting down here, and now all of a sudden has spent the latter a couple hours essentially going straight up here. So as far as key levels to watch moving forward, that I'll at least be paying attention to. And the first level here from a support standpoint, going to be right there at the $950 mark. And then if 950 doesn't quite hold up, next logical area is just down there where the price finally did bottom out, which was essentially $930. So 950, 930 going to be the two main areas of support. From resistance side of things, if this price continues to bounce upwards here, curious about this trend line right there. That's quite a bit of a track record here, acting as supports right there. And then on the flip side of things, when the price fell below it, went into acting as resistance. So curious about that trend line, give or take right on, I don't know, let's call it 960, 965. And then also, you always want to keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50 period moving average. But the main dynamics here I'm very curious about is if the price does come down here and revisit, especially 950, can it hold? And if it doesn't, does that mean it's going to, head back down to at least test that 930 mark? We'll see what happens. Next one here, AVCT, very, very ugly looking chart, but as many of you have heard me say, there can be opportunity in ugly. And this is just simply a gap fill pullback play, meaning while others are screaming, running to the doors, thinking the game is over, and maybe it is over. Again, that's why risk management matters. But this $5 mark, very important, very interesting level, because that is the gap close. And while nothing is guaranteed, it's not irrational to think, I think this thing could close the gap and then get some sort of turnaround. Now, when I say turnaround, do I mean go all the way back up there and revisit those highs? I'm not saying that at all. But assuming you can honor risk and stop losses, then from a risk reward standpoint, if it goes down, closes the gap, and then just keeps dropping, okay, you have a small controlled loss. But if it goes on there and actually turns itself around and, bounces even a little bit, then compared to what was being risked, you could have a very nice upside movement. So like I said, there's no doubt about it. This is a very, very ugly looking chart right now. It's looking like the game is over. It's looking like, everybody has moved on. But in many cases, just when everybody kind of waves the white flag, that's when things can all of a sudden start to turn around again. So it makes this an interesting area down around that, like I said, $5 mark from the gap close. If you like to play those sorts of situations. And if you do, well, then I'd say definitely get this one on your watch list. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and if you're starting to see the potential and realize the power of this tool of technical analysis and want to learn more about it, then definitely get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be this Thursday, December 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So like I said, sign up down below if you're watching on YouTube, or just click on the area right there on the webpage if you're watching on my site. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out. Communicate that to me by doing two easy things. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below. Tell me a ticker symbol that you traded today, that you're watching tomorrow. Say hi. Give me an emoji, but hitting the like button, leaving a simple comment, communicate to me that you enjoy these videos. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I have no problem at all continuing to put in the time and effort to make them. So again, if you want to learn more about charts and this tool to build consistency, get signed up for the free class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.